Our first item for consideration is H.R. 756, the Postal Service Reform Act of 2017. The clerk will designate the bill.
H.R. 756, to restore the financial solvency and improve the governance of the United States Postal Service in order to ensure the efficient and affordable nationwide delivery of mail and for other purposes.
I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered as read and open for amendment at any point without objection so ordered. I intend to offer an amendment in the nature of a substitute to the bill. Without objection, we will call up the amendment in the nature of a substitute, and then I will recognize myself to give one statement on both the ANS and the underlying bill. The clerk will designate the amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 756, offered by Mr. Chaffetz of Utah.
Thank you. This is a big day. We've been working on a postal reform bill for quite some time. This is the next step in a process that has been very bipartisan from start to finish. I want to thank our ranking member, a good friend, Elijah Cummings, for his tireless work on this. I also want to recognize Mr. Mark Meadows. He's the chairman of the Government Operations Subcommittee. He has poured so much time and effort meeting with group after group and talking and helping us to get to the point where we are today, and I can't thank him enough, as well as Dennis Ross. Dennis, we're welcome back on the committee. He's spent time heading the subcommittee prior to his departure to another committee, but we're thrilled to have him back and glad that he's an integral part of this. I also want to thank Mr. Russell of Oklahoma. He's been a real champion here and recognizes the deep need for these reforms and his participation in the configuration of this bill. It also wouldn't have been possible without Jerry Conley, Mr. Stephen Lynch, and Brenda Lawrence, each of which have vast experience and commitment on these types of things. And so I'd like to welcome Mr. Conley here. Normally we'd have the audience all stand as he comes in, but we'll forego that. But we do thank Mr. Conley, Mr. Lynch, and Ms. Lawrence as well for their good work. And we're also pleased that Glenn G.T. Thompson, a Republican member out of Pennsylvania, as well as Tim Ryan, the Democrat from Ohio, have also joined us co-sponsoring this bill. The United States Postal Service has been a vital tool of commerce in our nation for more than 200 years, and each day the Postal Service delivers hundreds of millions of pieces of mail. It affects literally every single American, and it just works. I think if they stopped and understood the complexity of how you put a stamp on a letter and suddenly it shows up in your mailbox, it really is quite an amazing feat. In doing so, the Postal Service provides a seamless connection to all Americans, no matter your income, socioeconomic status, whether you're digitally connected or not, whether you live in rural America or you live in a big metropolitan area. But the United States Postal Service is at risk, and we've known this for some time, and the vital tool is nearing a fiscal insolvency. Really what we're trying to do and prevent is a bailout. I've had a chance to chat with a number of people, from the President of the United States to constituents in my own district, about this. And I will say it again, I've said it many, many times, it is a tool of commerce. It's the kind of thing that needs to work in our economy. It is a competitive advantage for the United States of America. But we need to recognize that the Postal Service has $119 billion in unfunded liabilities. These liabilities include more than $52 billion in earned but unfunded retiree health care. These liabilities also include $21 billion in unfunded pension liabilities and $18 billion for workers' compensation. In addition, the Postal Service has maxed out its $15 billion line of credit from the Treasury Department. The negative effect of the unfunded liabilities and debt has been compounded by the significant decreases in total mail volume. Mail volume is down roughly 25% since 2006. Struggling to handle volume loss and its unfunded liabilities, the Postal Service has posted multi-billion-dollar deficits 10 years in a row. But I also would wish that America and the rest of our government would recognize that the Postal Service, and certainly the workers, have done a lot to try to curb this very difficult financial situation. Since 2006, the Postal Service has cut annual expenses by $15 billion. They have cut the workforce by roughly 200,000 career employees. They additionally cut annual workloads by 331 million. They consolidated 360 of their facilities and 20,000 of their delivery routes, all at the same time where they're having to add, by mandate, nearly 900,000 new addresses to deliver to each and every year. Despite these major internal reforms, the Postal Service's financial situation remains bleak. Legislative reform is necessary to restore the financial health of the agency. This committee has worked on a very good bipartisan legislation for the last several years. I want to thank Chairman Issa for his work in helping to push forward postal reform, and we incorporated many of those ideas, as many as we possibly could, into this bill as well. Today, our bipartisan coalition includes Ranking Member Cummings, Government Operations Chairman Meadows, Mr. Conley, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Ross, Mr. Russell, Ms. Lawrence, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Ryan. But I can say that definitively, at least from my opinion, we have a very good bill. Each of us would like to see things done a little bit differently, but in the nature and the spirit of compromise, I think what we have before us today is a very solid bill. This bill, H.R. 756, the Postal Service Reform Act of 2017, will allow the Postal Service to take the necessary steps forward. The bill is a result of feedback provided by members, the Postal Service, postal unions, mailers, printers, publishers, nonprofits, and others. The major supporters of this bill, those who have been able to actually put their organizations and names in writing in support of this, include the Coalition for a 21st Century Postal Service, the American Catalog Mailers Association, the Parcel Shippers Association, the Bank of America, Federal Express, Overstock.com, Amazon, Verizon, Pitney Bowes, the Postal Service Management Associations, the National Association of, which includes the National Association of Postal Supervisors, the United Postmasters and Managers of America, and postal unions, including the American Postal Workers Association, the National Association of Letter Carriers, National Rural Letters Carriers Association, and the National Postal Mail Handlers Union. We appreciate all of these organizations working with us to come up with the bill that is today, and you can see the cross-section of organizations and unions and others that we have that are here in supportive of this bill. I really do believe this is a true path forward because the legislation allows the Postal Service to adopt private sector best practices for retiree health care. The Medicare integration provision alone will save the Postal Service $30 billion over the next 10 years and eliminate $50 billion in unfunded liability. This bill also increases the Postal Service's delivery efficiency by increasing the use of secure and centralized delivery units. The bill includes vital reforms to streamline the Postal Service Board of Governors, strengthening the Postal Regulatory Commission, and allow the Postal Service to work with state and local governments. We're very encouraged by the feedback that we have received along the way, and we'd like to think that we listened to that and incorporated it into the bill. I look forward to a good markup today. And with that, I will yield back and recognize the Ranking Member, Mr.